I'm with India Rogers with Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Services here in Murfreesboro, and thanks for meeting with me today, India.
You're welcome.
I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about the types of services that you offer at your agency, just so give our students a little better idea of what you do here.
At our office, we offer numerous opportunities for clients to help their situation. The biggest thing that we do is orders of protection.
Okay.
And orders of protection is just pretty much a document signed by a judge saying that this person harms you, and just depending on what the evidence is, they can grant the order of protection for the client.
Okay, so you deal a lot with the court system here.
We do. We have our legal staff, and we also, with the orders of protection, the client's not left alone. They are accompanied by our court advocates to the court.
Okay.
And we also have an on-staff attorney that, represents them, so they really don't have to stand up and in front of the scary judge and give all kind of information and comments or whatever.
Okay, tell us a little bit how a woman might come into contact with your agency to begin with. How would that whole process work?
There's many ways that a woman could come in contact with us. They can either, be in contact with the police, maybe the night before a incident happened. The police goes out, they give them a piece of paper that has our information on it, and maybe the woman's like, well, it's time to go. I need to go up there and talk to them.
Okay.
Or they can call up here, talk to one of our advocates, or even talk to one of the court advocates.
Sure.
And just be like, what do I need to do? Or they can call the crisis line or find information on it on the website. So there's numerous.
And these would be women who have either been physically assaulted or sexually assaulted, correct?
And it doesn't always have to be with the physical, the verbal, emotional. We also do stalking that's categorized with our agency, so we cover a lot of ground.
Okay. Now, do women actually stay at your facility here on a short-term basis, or how does all that work?
We do have a safe house that's located in our community, and women do get to stay there. Situations depend where they can stay up to 6 weeks and or more, just depending on the situation.
Okay.
But also going back to the services that we have counseling.
All right.
And all of our services are for free, so there's no cost to the client, out of pocket, and that really helps because getting to the big bad world out there, they cost a lot of money.
Exactly.
And we also offer follow-up services, helping with referrals and transitional houses. So we have numerous opportunities that we can provide for our clients.
That's kind of what I was wondering about, because a woman could be in a situation where she would almost feel perhaps trapped in her situation because she doesn't have the financial means to support herself.
Yes.
So what do you do in situations like that?
Well, if they just want to come up here, just to get the gist of our program, we tell them that we help monetarily up to $100, or we could do more, just depending on the case.
Okay.
And we just let them know that there are resources out there like community helpers that can help with monetary payments of rent or electric or something like that.
Right.
And we help with finding housing, and we also have the other program, the transitional, where if they move out of the shelter, they can move into this. So it gives them a little bit more leeway to go out there and find a job, help set up themselves. So if we don't have the resources to them, we outsource them to different agencies in the community.
I see. It's nice to know that they have that support and some options, and they aren't going to be trapped in their current situations. I've always wondered, can minors be seen at your agency, or do you only work with adults?
Minors can be seen at the agency. If they're coming in for an order of protection, they need to have a parent or guardian with them.
Okay.
Just because they just can't be put on there if they're underage.
Okay.
But with them staying at the shelter, minors can stay at the shelter, but they need to have a parent or guardian with them unless they're emancipated. If they're emancipated from their whatever parent background they have, then they don't have to be with a guardian overseer.
In a situation like that with a minor, who would be the one that would typically be abusing them? Would it be a family member? Could it be somebody else? Who's typically the one who's doing the abusing in that kind of a case?
It could be anybody.
Okay.
I mean, there's been cases from mom, dad, cousin, brother. It just depends on the case.
Could be a date rape type of situation, something like that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do men ever come here, or is this only for women? I've always wondered about that.
That's a question. Yeah. we help men.
Okay.
I believe last year we helped over 200 men get an order of protection. They just don't stay in our shelter. They're kept in another safe place here in the community.
Okay.
But we do help men. They come in with orders of protection. also with sexual assault too.
Okay. Is with the men, is it looking at the types of situation they get involved in and the relationships and the abuse? Is it their girlfriends or their wives who are assaulting them? Could it be a man-on-man type of abusive situation? How does all that work?
Like I said, situation differs, with each case that comes in.
Okay.
It could be wife or girlfriend abusing
Okay.
the husband or boyfriend.
All right.
It could be a roommate that's, verbal, mentally, and even could possibly be physically abusive, but it just depends on each case.
Now, you must have the women in these situations who come here and seek out services. I would imagine that in many cases they're scared, and
yes.
Especially perhaps the ones who have been stalked or have been in a pretty bad abusive situation. How are they assured that of their safety, that they can come here, get your services, that they'll be safe? How do you assure them of that kind of safety?
For safety reasons, just like in, everyday life, there's not any guarantee for any decision that you make. But when people come here, we just tell them that, you can make the best decision that's going to help better your situation. But it's not all the time going to be it might not be the safest.
Right.
Just say if a lady comes in and she wants an order of protection, that might make the abuser 10 times as mad. So
right.
Something could escalate from that. But we do offer the shelter and stuff like that, and we coordinate with people here in the community. And
okay.
I'm sure if need be, we could maybe send them somewhere else, so where
right.
we can assure that they'll have safety for a little bit. But
okay.
If they decide to go back to the house with this order of protection
right.
hanging over their heads, then
nothing you can do really
can't.
at that point. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a safe house, I think I heard you say, here in Murfreesboro. Are there safe houses in outlying communities too that you coordinate with, or do you just have one here that you primarily work with?
We have our primarily one here in
okay.
The county, and we also have other safe houses that are coordinated throughout the community.
Okay. All right. Now, in terms of coordinating with other community agencies, I heard you say that you work a lot with the court system, and so do you actually accompany the women at those hearings?
Yes,
and
sir.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about what that's like and what it's like for the woman to go through one of those hearings.
Okay, for the legal system, all the clients meet upstairs in the designated courtroom.
All right.
They're greeted with our court staff, and they walk them through, as they did here before, what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen when your name's called. You stand up.
Sure.
And they go through all the things that could happen on
Okay.
that. As far as the hearings, we're there completely 100%. We do the negotiations, if need be, between our client and the abuser.
All right.
And the client really doesn't have to have interaction with the respondent unless they want to.
Okay.
They're not supposed to because of the order, but some things happen. But as far as keeping the client safe, keeping them, away from this person, we try to as much as we can. Like I said, with the negotiations, going back and forth with, I want this, and can you do this?
Right. So in the courtroom during a hearing, is the abuser actually in the same room with the woman? What's that like for the woman?
I'm sure it's completely terrifying to meet
Yeah.
the person or see the person after however many days or weeks of not seeing.
Yeah.
And you just confront it with that fear again. So I can imagine how completely overwhelming it is.
Oh, must be.
And if they need extra comfort or just want that security with them, another advocate such as myself or one of our other on-staff people will go with them and sit right beside them.
Okay.
Hand hold, whatever they need, we're there for them.
Okay. Now, do you coordinate at all with the health department?
Not the health department, but
Okay.
the hospitals in the area.
Okay.
With MTMC, Woodbury occasionally, and Stonecrest.
Okay.
We have what is called a SART team, which is a sexual assault response team.
All right.
And say if there's a sexual assault in either 3 of those locations, our team is activated immediately. Everybody's called to come out. The client can choose to see whoever they want to.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to talk to me. They don't have to talk to law enforcement.
Okay.
They could just talk to the SANE nurse, which is
Sure.
sexual assault nurse examiner. And we just tell them, do what's best for you. If you want the kit, we can do that. That'll help in the long run if you need evidence, anything like that. But we promote support for them.
Sure. So they know that once they're done with a medical test at the hospital, that they have you as a support system to help them coordinate beyond that.
Yes, when we go to the hospital, we have care packages for them, extra changes of clothes, toiletries, a survivor's guide that we take into them and let them know these are some issues you might face with the trauma that's happened. Here's some numbers to call, especially on our brochure that we have. We let them know that this number is for our office or the crisis line. Call crisis line 24/7 or call up here, during our business hours.
Okay.
Talk to somebody, because I'm usually here, and I do some crisis line calls while I'm here.
Okay.
Just if the other staff's not trained or not, or they just sometimes they're really difficult, but
okay.
We just let them know that we have a lot of revenues and a lot of outlets for them.
All right. What kind of staff do you have here, Indy, at your agency? Who are the workers? What kind of educational backgrounds do they have? That kind of stuff.
Most of our staff has a degree in whichever field that they're located for. Like if they're legal, they need to have a criminal or some type of legal field background.
Sure.
As for me, sexual assault and working with families and stuff, I had the CDS background.
Okay.
But the people that's been here since day one, if you're good at your job, you're good at your job, and we're not going to make anybody go back to school. So for most of us, we do have a degree, but for those that are been here since day one, they still do this job well without their degree.
Right, and the experience is really important in this kind of a position, I'm sure.
Oh yes, it is.
And for people, students who would want to get into this line of work, go into this field, are there any experiences, anything that you could recommend to them that would help prepare them for this? Any kind of experiences, anything you can think of?
Probably not experiences, just letting people know that they need an open mind. They need to, evaluate themselves before they step into this work, because being judgmental or just very condoning of people is not going to work. They pick up on it, and then, you could have missed out on helping that person get away from all the things that's happening.
Sure. I'm sure they're going to come across people who have different backgrounds, different values, attitudes, beliefs, all that kind of stuff. So it really makes it important for them to be open-minded, I guess, and non-judgmental.
It does. It helps. And, just knowing that people are different, and people in these type of situations, they have a whole lot of emotions going on.
Sure.
If you've dealt with years of abuse, then you're not going to be, I guess, like the normal person.
Right.
And not know how to deal with crisis, or just like the smallest thing could upset these people.
Right.
Whereas we could just brush it off. But just being level-headed, open-minded, having that empathy and that concern for people will help somebody in this field go far.
Exactly. Okay. And if somebody needs your services, do you have a number that they would call, or how do they go about doing that?
We do. They can call the number here at 896-7377, or they can call one of our crisis lines at one of the crisis lines is 896-2012, or 494-9262.
And the crisis lines are 24-hour?
They're 24 hours, 7 days a week, and whenever you call, you're sure to get an advocate.
Okay. Well, India, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank
we really
you so much
appreciate
for having
it.
me.
Sure. Thank you.